Some counties starting to come down in their snow emergency level alerts, but that does not mean it's time to let our guards down just yet. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Imani Payne. Crews continue to plow around the clock, but the constant snow and cold temps is making it hard to keep the roads clean. Our Kimberly Perez joining us now live in Cleveland. And Kimberly, how are things looking out there right now?
Hi, good afternoon, Imani. Because the temperatures are getting really cold out here and it is starting to get windier. Imani.
All right, stay safe out there, Kimberly. Thank you so much for that report. Now, cleanup efforts are continuing all across the state, including in Franklin County. It has been downgraded to a level 2. Our Cassidy Wilson is live in Columbus this afternoon as the city starts to clear some of the residential streets. So, Cassidy, what's the latest there?
Hey, good afternoon, Imani. Yeah, we just heard from Mayor Andrew Ginther, and stay safe out there. Imani, back to you.
Now, Cassidy, you've been all around Columbus today. What's your sense on the conditions out on the roads right now?
Yeah, so those main roads, they are starting to clear up. You're starting to see the pavement on them, but the sides stay home if they can.
All right, stay warm out there if you can, Cassidy. Thank you so much for that report. Several Ohioans continue to dig themselves out from record snowfall over the weekend. Our Katie Capusta has a look at how some neighborhood roads are looking in southwest Ohio.
Now that the snow has stopped, streets are starting to get today. In Cincinnati, Katie Capusta, Spectrum News.
If you're still digging yourself out this morning, well, then you're not alone. Meteorologist Tyler Seabury is joining us this afternoon. And Tyler, we know these cold temperatures will last for a while. So how long can we expect the snow and the ice and the freezing temps to stick around?
Yeah, unfortunately, to put it, as simply as I can, the freezing temperatures are going nowhere. We're not going to get rid of those anytime soon. No city in Ohio has a high above freezing for the next 10 days. So it's going to be very hard to get rid of the snow, very hard to get rid of the ice. It's going to stick around for the foreseeable future.
And we saw a massive amount of snowfall over the past few days. So what are those official totals? How much snow did we see from this snowstorm?
Yeah, it wasn't a record breaker for Cleveland or Toledo, but Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati all set a record snow for the day on Sunday. And there were many double-digit 10, 12, 14, even a couple of totals upwards of 15, 16 inches of snow. So this is definitely going to go down as one of the biggest snow events for central and southern Ohio in particular. But there was even some significant snowfall up across northern Ohio as well. So a big snowstorm. I think we're all going to remember it for a while.
And we're not out of the woods just yet. I know we've got some chilly days ahead. So what can we expect in the coming days? Yeah,
I think the cold, I don't want it to be forgotten. We've got wind chills that are going to be down, 15, 20, 25 below zero the next few mornings here. When you get into those dark purples like that, that's not your friend. You don't want numbers to look like that. So this is going to be serious cold. This is the kind of cold that can be hazardous to dangerous. Please make sure you're, doing your cold weather precautions, anything. This is the kind of cold that can be hazardous in any regard. So please be safe all week long.
Sure, and we want everyone to layer up as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Tyler, thank you so much. And we'd love to see your weather photos and videos. Whether you're having some fun in the snow or just want to show off what's in your backyard, you can scan the QR code right there on your screen to share it with us. If you do, you just might see it right here on air. ICE agent and protester tensions not showing signs of letting up. How a new incident is intensifying things up next. Attorneys for Minnesota and the Twin Cities are in court today, asking a judge to temporarily halt the immigration crackdown in the state. The request comes following the second deadly shooting of a person in Minnesota by federal agents this month. And we want to warn you, you might find the video in this piece hard to watch.
A memorial for 37-year-old intensive care nurse Alex Pretty continues to grow. I'm Angie Gonzalez.
Meantime, Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada is calling for the impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Rosen says Noem should be removed from her job over the way she handled and reacted to ICE enforcement incidents in Minneapolis. the operation leading to the deaths of 2 American citizens. Rosen says Noem and her department's latest attempt to mislead the American public about Pretty's shooting is, in her words, deeply shameful. Noem said Pretty brandished a weapon at officers during an enforcement operation, and the officers responded in self-defense. However, no video released of the scene just yet backs up Noem's claim. We'll have more on the investigation into the latest shooting in Minneapolis later in the hour. Reports say the FBI set up a crisis coordination center in Minneapolis and is asking employees from around the country to staff it. The agency is especially looking for people who have experience investigating social media. The FBI reportedly is trying to collect intelligence on groups that are protesting federal immigration officials' presence in the city. Saturday, FBI Director Kash Patel said there's been increasing threats to law enforcement on social media. Gun rights advocates are blasting some Trump administration statements about Saturday's ICE shooting death in Minneapolis. The man an immigration agent killed had a gun permit and was lawfully carrying a concealed firearm. Videos do not show Alex Pretty brandishing the weapon. Some top Trump administration officials suggest merely carrying it justified an ICE agent killing him. The NRA, Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, and Gun Owners of America denounced that view. They point to the Second Amendment or Minnesota's permissive gun laws. Ukraine's leader is optimistic about a security deal. Coming up next, what needs to happen for the possible deal to move forward. Following 2 days of talks with officials from the U.S. and Russia, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says a security agreement is, quote, 100% ready to be signed. He made that announcement while speaking with journalists in Lithuania yesterday, adding that the other countries just need to set a signing date. After the document is signed, it would go to Congress and Ukrainian parliament for approval. The latest round of talks covered a broad range of topics, including a potential ceasefire and Ukraine's push to become a part of the European Union. According to one U.S. official, negotiations will continue in the United Arab Emirates on February 1st. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he expects Israel and Hamas to move into the second phase of their ceasefire soon. Netanyahu says phase 2 will begin after Hamas returns the remains of the last hostage held in Gaza. The next step would include disarming Hamas militants and demilitarizing Gaza. Hamas officials say the group is ready to discuss freezing or storing its arsenal of weapons as part of the next phase. It also includes deploying an international force to secure Gaza and forming a temporary Palestinian government. Venezuela's acting president says she's had enough of President Donald Trump's orders, saying she's focused on uniting the country after the U.S. captured leader Nicolas Maduro. At an event with oil workers, she said, quote, let Venezuelan politics resolve our differences and our internal conflicts. Enough of foreign powers. Now, days after the strike, White House officials outlined a number of demands that Venezuela must agree to, including an exclusive partnership with the U.S. on oil production. Gold prices topped $5,000 an ounce for the first time ever. The new record was set on Sunday. Analysts say the price spike is being fueled by worries President Donald Trump is upending relations between the United States and its allies in Europe and Canada. Gold and other metals are often seen as safe haven assets investors stick to in times of uncertainty. Prices are up 15% so far this year after surging 65%. A big change in how USPS will handle mail-in ballots this year. Still to come, what voters need to know about the Postal Service's new postmark policy. I'm Imani Payne, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. The offices of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office are closed today. Here's a look at some of the snow that's leading to this decision. The sheriff says this includes civil offices, real estate offices, and the CCW office. Deputies also encourage you to check with any businesses you're planning on visiting to ensure that they're still open and to travel with caution. The Columbus Metropolitan Library will not operate its locations as warming centers today. All locations are closed because of the weather. The library operates as a warming site during normal operating hours and regular conditions. The library was also closed yesterday. COTA says it will still deliver service for essential travel. This is a look at a COTA bus working earlier this morning. We're going to show you that. You see some snow there right now on High Street with a lot of snow still on the ground. COTA Mainstream will only provide trips for medical appointments, grocery stores, pharmacies, and warming centers. COTA Plus is suspended today in South Columbus, Westerville, and Grove City. Transit fares are waived today and tomorrow. John Glenn Columbus International Airport is trying to make it easier for travelers at the peak of the storm. Here's a look at crews cleaning the runway yesterday to help with the many cancellations and delays.
A very, very cold night tonight. Frigid temperatures.
Crews are continuing to plow the roads around Ohio, but not all are clear yet. Our Krista Lucas gives us a look at how some of the roads are looking right now.
I'm in Grandview.
The snow may have stopped falling, but now Ohioans will have to deal with all the snow on the roads and ground and bitter cold temperatures settling in. Crews have been out plowing and salting roads all weekend long, but some routes may be more clear than others. Ohio Department of Transportation Press Secretary Matt Bruning tells us it could be just the beginning of the cleanup process with these lower temperatures in place.
The main weapon that we use to deal with snow and ice is rock salt and the brine that we make in-house that's just rock salt and water. And that is a great tool to use, except for when temperatures go below 20, it starts to lose its effectiveness. And we are well below that and expected to stay below that for several days this week. So that is going to be one of our challenges, is dealing with the cold weather. We'll mix in things to try to activate that salt at lower temperatures, but it is going to take us longer to clean up these roads in these conditions versus if it were, say, 25 degrees outside.
And remember to give ODOT crews plenty of space to work to help clear the roads faster. A little notice change in how the Postal Service processes mail could have a big impact on this year's elections. Spectrum News Washington Bureau reporter Shannon Ryan explains.
The Postal Service.
Tax season is here and many Americans could see higher refunds this year. The Treasury Department estimates they'll average $1,000 more per household. That's because many filers didn't adjust their withholdings when recent income tax breaks began. A new law boosts the individual standard deduction by $750 and by twice that for married couples. It also expands state and local tax deductions and gives a new break to some seniors. New vaccine guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics significantly differs from controversial government recommendations. The AAP schedule out today contains just minor adjustments of last year's guidance. By contrast, the CDC is narrowing its recommendations for several diseases. It also calls for a health provider consult for flu, COVID-19, and rotavirus vaccines. Many states and doctors are relying on the AAP guidelines in light of the government changes. 3 tech giants are set to defend their impact on young people in a trial that starts tomorrow. A mother and daughter are suing TikTok, Meta, and YouTube. They allege the app's addictive features harmed the teens' mental health and led to self-harm. Many advocates, experts, and families say they have similar concerns. The tech company says they've addressed those worries with new safety features and policies. This week's trial could impact more than 1,000 similar cases. The European Union is investigating the Elon Musk AI chatbot Grok. Grok is under fire for creating sexually explicit images of women and children. The commission says it's looking into whether the platform followed the law. Musk says the chatbot no longer allows users to create revealing images of real people. After a shutdown that went on for more than a month late last year, another one could be on the horizon. Up next, why Senate Democrats are pushing back against a current bill. And here's a look from Franklin County of someone getting back to cleaning up the snow after a break. Our meteorologists will let you know how much longer that snow will stick around and your Weather on the Ones forecast up next. The developing situation in Minneapolis and the second deadly shooting of an American citizen by immigration enforcement agents threatening to derail efforts to avert a partial government shutdown before the end of the week. Some Senate Democrats are vowing to oppose the bill that includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. Spectrum's Angie Gonzalez has the latest.
The Senate is on a tight deadline to pass the last of
Several parts of the country are now dealing with the tail end of this massive winter storm, bringing cold, widespread power outages and travel headaches. Spectrum's Katie Streit has more.
Deadly cold is gripping much of the country.
We continue bringing more views from across the state after this weekend's massive winter storm. Our Jack Burney is in Cleveland with a look at conditions there.
I'm here in Lakewood, Ohio.
During the winter storm, some still managed to go out and catch a movie, and this weekend's box office holds a new first place. Sci-fi thriller Mercy, starring Chris Pratt, is the new #1 movie, debuting with $11 million. After 5 weekends on top, Avatar: Fire and Ash finally lost the crown. $7 million pushed its domestic total past $378 million, and its global to more than $1.3 billion. Zootopia 2 made $5.7 million. The Housemaid took in $4.2 million. And 28 years later, The Bone Temple went from 2nd to 5th place in its second weekend, grossing $3.6 million. Super Bowl 60 is set. The Seattle Seahawks will face the New England Patriots in Santa Clara next month. The Seahawks beat out the Los Angeles Rams 31-27 for the NFC title on Sunday. And the Patriots beat the Denver Broncos 10-7 in a snowy matchup at Mile High Stadium for the AFC title. New England QB Drake May ran in the Patriots' only touchdown for a record extending 12th Super Bowl appearance. This is the 4th time Seattle has reached the NFL showpiece. Super Bowl 60 is set for Sunday, February 8th in Santa Clara, California. That'll do it for another hour of news here on Spectrum News 1. But coming up after the break, we'll get a check of our top stories across the state, as well as your latest Weather on the One's forecast. Stay with us.